I love to play with different textures and products to make backgrounds in my card making and then add dies for unique and fun cards for every occasion. Recently I challenged myself to make a large masterboard with stamps and stencils and pastes and shimmer powders, and I'm going to share that process in this video. Hello and welcome to Karen's Creative Cards on YouTube. I am Karen Hashik and this is the first of a two-part video. The second half will show how I use dies to make many cards from the one masterboard mixed media piece that I'm going to create today. Here is a peek at the cards I made with my first masterboard. Now all the details on all of these cards will be, with these backgrounds, will be on my blog, and links of course in the description box, as well as links to the products featured. So after I made this masterboard, and I'm going to show you in essence how I did that, but everyone turns out different of course, I die cut pieces for cards out, and this is the first one that I created. This is another really cool die, and I'm going to show you how that works in the second part of this video. I am loving Slimline cards, and if you have a large masterboard piece, you can cut out the top for this one and this piece as well and make a Slimline easel card. So and then I use letters to spell love with the eclipse look, and I'm sure I'm going to be repeating that on the second batch that I make. Here's another Slimline card that I made, and I used triangle dies to cut out cool pieces from that background. This is a Thinking of You card. I simply cut a strip, but if you'll notice, and it's hard to see, all of these pieces are stitched, and that's one thing I really like, is that stitching adds such a nice touch. So there's a strip from that masterboard, and then I added 3 strips of sticky tape and put some embossing powder on there. So there's another card that I created, and then this is the last one. You can see the leaves and the things that I add to that background and the stenciling, and we're going to do that together. Many of the steps on this 11 by 15 piece take time to dry, so I did a couple in advance. I don't have regular paints or papers. Sometimes people use papers, but what I used just to put down some color to get started was Nuvo Shimmer Powder. This is a watercolor powder that activates with water, of course, and I use like about 6 different colors, and I just sprinkled it on, spritzed some water, and then let it dry just to get some color down to get started. And then I also did a little bit of stamping. I wanted to feature a couple new stamps that I just got from Dina, Kowal, and Impression Obsession. If all you see are shadows, perhaps you are the light. I just love the message in there. And this one, if you cannot see your way out of the darkness, I will sit with you until you see the stars. So, and this one I kind of planned where I'm going to die cut, and those are going to be featured on a couple of the cards. So, and then I'm going to be, I can always add stamps if there's space later, but the main thing I'm going to do is some stenciling. So I have a nice ferns stencil from a Colorful Life Designs, and some dark green distress ink. And I know I'm not a real artist, but I just put things all over the place, and then I end up die cutting it out, and it looks really great. So that's kind of what I'm going to do here. I'm adding a fern. Put this where I can reach it, right? Yeah. And then has to be a better way. One of the little ferns on the top, I think. And then maybe another one coming off this way. And then I think I have this one that I'm not sure who that's from. Seth Apter, Stencil Girl. And I like the Timeless and some of this here. And I don't have a lot of space to work, so I'm going to have to clean up in between each step. I think I'm going to use black for this. And add a little bit over here. And what I like about this is if it's not perfect, it's okay because it's supposed to kind of look that way, right? You know? And I think I might add some other stenciling in a yellow. Which doesn't show up very well. So unless we can do, let's try it up there. Let's try some of this abandoned coral. I think this process is fun because everyone's going to turn out different, and if you were doing this you'd be putting them in different places, but that's okay because when I cut it down for a card it's still going to look really cool. So and I'm going to be adding a lot of layers on top of this, so this is just what is getting started here. I think we're good with that stenciling. We can always go back and add some more. Now I'm going to use some stencils and add, this is Nuvo Expanding Mousse. And what I like about these is that I can put them down and heat set them right away, and they expand and bubble and they dry right away. Because you're going to see the last steps here using other wet products. I'm going to have to set it aside to dry for a while. But this is a gold expanding mousse. And because my theme is kind of shadows and light and stars, I am going to add some expanding mousse. No, I think maybe that one is too small. Let's try that one. I will do with the next step. But this one, I think, needs something up here. use the red. And one there, one there. I'm going to put 4 of that other kind, so I think one more there in the green. Yeah, gonna need a stronger one than that. That's why I got a baby wipe out here, so I could clean that up and do one more, and then I will heat set those. Don't want that over that. So now I'm going to quick heat set those. It doesn't take very long, and you will see how that bubbles up and gives great texture. So those leaves are now raised and have great texture. And then the last step I'm going to do before I take a break is to add some Duo gel from Transfer Gel Duo from Deco Foil and Thermoweb. And this, you can use this with heat or no heat, and of course I'm going to be using it with no heat, and I'm going to be adding some foil and some embossing powder. So I'm going to put on 4 different areas, and then that has to sit to dry. It cannot be dried with a heat gun, and then I'll come back and finish things up. So this one. And one thing that's nice about, I think, mixed media is even if you don't get it in there perfectly, it kind of looks like you meant it to be that way, and also things are going to be totally cut apart. So that is going to dry clear, and then I'm going to put foil on that one, I think. And then let's see, where do you think it needs some more, maybe? This star over here. And I think some more stars with that one in areas that don't have much. Okay, we're going to take a little break and come back and finish things up. So the Duo gel is dry now and clear, but it remains tacky. And I'm going to be adding some foil and some embossing powder to that. I'm using some Brutus Monroe transfer sheets, the Gold Static and the Sunrise. And basically what you do is you just press it down and rub it in with a bone folder or something, and then you can lift it off and you have that beautiful foil. And you don't need heat with this gel, which is very exciting, especially on a piece like this. There'd be no way to put it through. So I've added some stars with the gold, and then you pull it off. And once again, if it's not 100% perfect, it's not like it's the focus, it's just adding a little brightness. That was the one thing I thought that other one was missing a little bit. Now, I have some chunky metallic seasonings, which is a mixture of the golds and blacks and everything. I really like their, from Stampendous, the mixes that they have. And right there is a leaf, and right there is one, and that is with the, again, the Duo gel. So I am dumping that on and pressing it in and making sure I have all the area. It's clear now, so it's a little hard to see, but I think I have that. And then I'll dump it off into a sheet that I can. And you can see again, it's not 100% perfect, but the point is to add some color and some texture. And then I'm going to get this one up here. So I will heat set one of those so you can see what that does. And then this will be the end of part 1. I'll be back with part 2 on how to die cut and make many unique cards with this one Masterboard mixed media piece. So you can see that as that melts, it adds a great texture, and that's what I'm loving about. There's texture and colors and a whole mix there. And I will finish this and be back. Thanks for watching. Come back for part 2.